Welcome. Today we're going to talk about circumference and area of circles. A circle is the set of all points that are the same distance from a given point, called the center of the circle. We're going to label the parts of this circle. Please write down the names of all the parts. So to begin, a chord is a segment whose endpoints are on the circle. And we already know a segment is a part of a line that has two endpoints. So now if the endpoints are on the circle, you have a chord. A diameter is a special kind of chord. It's a chord that passes through the center. It's the longest chord possible. Radius is half the diameter. So it's a segment that has one endpoint at the center and the other on the circle. And it's exactly half as long as the diameter. And finally, the circumference is the distance around the circle. If this were a polygon, we would call that the perimeter, right? It's the distance around it. But because it's a circle, we have a special name. We call it the circumference. So let's talk about how you can calculate the circumference of a circle. There's two ways. One way involves the diameter, and that would be that c, the circumference, is equal to pi times the diameter. Okay, pi being that irrational number that begins 3.14. The second way is that the circumference is equal to 2 times pi times the radius. The reason there's two formulas is that the diameter is twice as long as the radius. Okay, so d equals 2 times r. So we're going to choose the formula that's more convenient for us. If we're given the diameter, we'll use the first formula, pi times diameter, and if we're given the radius, we'll just use 2 times pi times r. Here's an example. Find the circumference of a circle with diameter 6 centimeters to the nearest tenth. So we want to take our answer and round it to the nearest tenth. So first of all, we have a choice of formulas. We could use the circumference equals pi times diameter or circumference equals 2 pi r. Which formula should we use? Well, that's right. In this case, we want to use pi d because we know the diameter and not the radius. Okay, so plugging into pi d, we know the diameter is 6. So we're going to write c equals pi times 6, or generally we put 6 in front of pi, just like we would put it in front of a variable. And this would be considered the exact answer. If you were told to find the exact answer, the only way is to leave it as pi, because anything else involves rounding. In this case, we were told to round to the nearest tenth, so we're going to substitute 6 times 3.14, and we get approximately, right, we have to say it's approximate because we did round it, 18.84. And now to round to the tenth place is where the 8 is. So should it stay at 18.8 or go up to 18.9? And the answer is 5 or more, add 1 more, 4 or less, let it rest. We're going to let it rest at approximately 18.8. 18.8 what? Centimeters. Okay, we don't use square units for perimeter or for circumference because that's a straight line measurement, right? Bent around that curve. Okay, so here's one for you to try on your own. Pause the video by pressing the space bar and then check back for the answer in a moment. Find the circumference of a circle with a radius of 3.2 inches to the nearest tenth. So once again, we have a choice of formulas. Which formula shall we choose? In this case, we know the radius and not the circumference, so we'll choose 2 pi r. The radius is 3.2, so we substitute in and we say c equals 2 times pi times 3.2. Now, 3.2 times 2 is 6.4, so 6.4 times pi would be the exact answer. If we want an approximate answer, then we substitute 3.14 times 6.4, and we get approximately 20.4 0.096. At this point, we round to the nearest tenth. Right now, there's a 0 in the tens place, and we look at the next digit. 5 or more, add 1 more. The answer is 20, approximately 20.1 what? 20.1 inches. Okay, let's talk about area. The area of a circle equals the product of pi and the square of the radius. In other words, area equals pi r squared. This is a very important formula. And let's do an example using this formula. Okay, the area of a circle is equal to pi times the radius squared. So find the area of a circle with a diameter of 10 feet. What we want to do, we always start by writing the formula. Area equals pi r squared. Then we're going to substitute in the radius, the measure of the radius in place of r, and take that to the second power. Well, in this case, we know the diameter is 10 feet. So what would the radius be? It's going to equal 5 feet. So that's what we'll substitute in. We'll have a equals pi times 5 to the second power. 5 to the second power, 5 times 5 is 25. So we have area equals 25 pi. Again, if you're told to find the exact answer, this is what you would write. The area is equal to 25 pi. Now to find the approximate answer, we're going to do 25 times 3.14. And 25 times 3.14, it's about 78.5 square feet.